Hey guys, welcome to an interesting video on Wild Rift. So we're back with a Jinx updated complete guide. Now, Jinx, as you saw from my tier list, is not really in the best spot at the moment, but hey, in my opinion, she still has a place. Now, in my opinion, the main issue with Jinx is the fact that she has a really weak early game, but she does have a very strong late game. But the main issue is, at the moment, I feel like Caitlyn is just somewhat a better-ish version of Jinx. Like with Caitlyn, you have a strong early game and a strong late game, but a weak mid game if you don't get fed. With Jinx, you have like ramping up. It's like a weak early game, okay mid game, and a strong late game. So Jinx is sort of a normal ADC route where you get stronger and stronger and stronger. But I feel like the main reason why the two of them are so similar is the fact that they are ADCs that want to play for team fights and they want to play front to back and stay at max range and just blast whoever is in range. So with Caitlyn, she is single target, she has the longest range in the game. With Jinx, she has slightly shorter range with the rocket, but she has AoE damage. So the only real thing, in my opinion, that Caitlyn brings over Jinx, that Jinx brings over Caitlyn, sorry, is the fact that she has AoE, and in some versus some team comps that can be the difference. Now, of course, Caitlyn can go for something like Runaan's Hurricane. However, Jinx is definitely the superior AoE damage, long range, front to back hyper carry ADC. So that's really the only time you want to pick Jinx over Caitlyn, and that is kind of why Jinx isn't really that good at the moment. However, as I mentioned in all my tier lists, there is a place for literally every single ADC in this meta, because all of the ADCs in the game are differentiated enough such that there will be a particular scenario in a particular match that this ADC will be your best choice. Like for example in this match where I'm playing Jinx. So anyways, as usual with our updated complete guides, you do want to take a look at the original complete guide for the skills and leveling order. And without further ado, in the interest of time, we can move on to talking about the build. Now, honestly, the Jinx build has changed quite significantly. Now, the main thing that has changed is, of course, the addition of LDR, but something else that changed is also the return of Runaan's Hurricane. So now, Runaan's Hurricane did get that buff. I think it went from 45% to 55% on the Wind's Fury passive. So this is actually pretty huge. And the reason why that is the case is because now Jinx, aside from the AoE from her actual rockets, also gets the AoE from Runaan's Hurricane, and she can do insane damage to like 3 targets at the minimum at one go. So that's really the main and pretty much the only strength of Jinx. I say only because, as I said, pretty much all of Jinx's other strengths is sort of what other ADCs can do. Maybe except the rocket, but even Ezreal can do that with his True Shot Barrage. Right, anyways, I'm not sure if you guys heard that, but it's kind of raining here, so there is thunder in the background. Hopefully that doesn't affect the video too much. But yeah, so here we're going to jump into the actual items. First up, of course, we go for Storm Razor. Pretty obvious. We get ourselves the AD, the crit, and the attack speed, as well as the slow. All stats that we want. Pretty standard first item pickup. I like going for boots early on Jinx because Jinx is a super immobile ADC with literally no mobility at all in her kit, unlike Caitlyn who has a dash. So I like to pick up the Boots of Fury simply because it allows me to use my movement speed to either chase or kite. Now in my opinion, there's no real use of picking up defensive boots on Jinx because if you get caught, you're likely just gonna die because you're so squishy. Like it just takes a few attacks to kill you. And next up, we go for IE. IE gives you, of course, the attack damage as well as the crit, and as well as increased crit damage. And after that, we like to pick up Runaan's Hurricane. Now, as far as possible, you want to pick up Runaan's Hurricane as your third item and not your fourth item. Now, there is sort of a exception, which is if you're against like 3 tanky targets at the minimum, then you go for like Lord Dominic's Regards first. But aside from that, you always want to go for Runaan's first because she spikes really hard on 3 items with Runaan's Hurricane. Runaan's, of course, gives you the crit, gives you the 45% attack speed, which is pretty huge, and of course gives you the Wind's Fury, which allows you to attack 3 people at the same time, of course not at full damage. So after that, of course, you get the LDR, which will give you 100% crit, and of course a little bit more AD, and mainly, of course, for the armor penetration. And finally, as your last item, you want to go for the GA. And GA, of course, does give you that revive. Now, honestly, on Jinx, it is sort of an issue about what last item to go for if your GA is down. Because, honestly, I feel that something like Death's Dance, Maw of Malmorius, etc. is somewhat helpful, but I feel like Jinx is so squishy that going for a full tank item doesn't make sense. So you probably want to go for either Wits End, Maw, or like Death's Dance is probably your best options. I guess you could also go for something like a Blade of the Rune King if you really want to, because you don't want to overcap on crit with something like Bloodthirster, because that's a waste. So I guess something like Blade of the Rune King could work as well. But yeah, this is sort of how you go the build for Jinx. Now the alternative build for Jinx is going for the Rapid Fire Cannon instead of going for Runaan's Hurricane. Now personally I don't recommend this, because at this point Runaan's Hurricane is so far superior than Rapid Fire Cannon that it's sort of a waste to not go for Runaan's Hurricane, because Runaan's Hurricane of course increases your teamfight damage, and that's the main reason you pick Jinx in the first place. If you wanted to go for Rapid Fire Cannon, why not just go for Caitlyn instead, if you know what I'm trying to say. So pretty much this is going to be the default build for Jinx almost all the time. And now I'm going to talk about the runes and the spells. So for the runes, you go for Lethal Tempo, of course, for the attack speed. Jinx is, of course, a hyper carry who is focused on literally basic attacks. She doesn't really care too much about using her actual spell, so it's really about basic attacks for Jinx. So you want to take Lethal Tempo to, of course, get yourself more attack speed to, you know, DPS more. And then, of course, we get Hunter Vampirism for the lifesteal, because we don't actually have any lifesteal in this build. So this is really your only form of lifesteal in your kit. And then, of course, Bone Plating. I mentioned this in every complete guide, but Bone Plating is really, really strong now in both laning as well as team fights, because it blocks, you know, the incoming attack now, which is pretty huge. Even like against poke like Ziggs or Varus, it can block that as well. So that's pretty huge. And finally, we get the Nimbus Cloak for the increased mobility when you cast a spell. This is of course huge because Jinx again has no mobility, so this is one of your many ways to increase your attacks, not attack speed, but your movement speed, to allow you to try to escape just simply by walking it out, basically. And for the spells, we go for the Exhaust and we go for the Flash as usual. So now we can talk about the gameplay. Alright, so now moving on straight to the gameplay. Now, as usual, of course, don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe. Any questions, queries, remarks, feel free to leave them in the comments below. I will, of course, be addressing those. Alright, so here, first thing I want to explain real quickly, because we haven't done a Jinx video in like a hot minute. So, something that I did mention a couple times before, but hopefully, not hopefully, but possibly, that you guys may not know or forgot, is that Jinx wants to play with an Enchanter support. Jinx does not want to play with a tank engager. Now, it's not that Jinx can't play with tank engage. She can, of course. However, what Jinx really wants is not someone to go in and engage for her, unlike other champions like, for example, Kai'Sa or Lucian. A lot of people going to engage for them. But yeah, I mean, we haven't even really discussed the Enchanter thing, and we already straight into the action, but not too much to explain there. Basically, Varus and Soraka just walked up trying to poke for some reason, but they kind of lose versus Jinx and Janna, because Jinx has DPS whereas Varus does not. So, and Soraka again walks up. I'm not too sure what's happening here. Zed does come in off the roam and allows Varus to pick up a kill though, but not really sure what's happening here. It's sort of a really messy first minute of the game. Already 3 kills on the board. But anyways, Jinx doesn't really need anyone to go in and engage for her. What she really wants is someone who can peel and protect for her. So, I mean, I know that tanks like can do that. Like, you can focus on protecting your ADC, but tanks generally focus more on engaging. So generally, what Jinx loves is a Janna or a Lulu. Why? These are two of the best like peeling and supporting enchanters in the game. Like, Janna has her Tornado and as well as the Monsoon to push people away and keep people off of Jinx. She also has the shield to, you know, of course, block damage for Jinx. And Lulu, pretty much the same thing. She has a polymorph to stop enemies from attacking Jinx. She has the shield on her E, and she also has the ult to give Jinx health as well. So here again, we just run them down. Honestly, it's not too much to explain here. The Varus and Soraka are stepping up despite not having the damage to really do anything to us, and as a result we're just punishing them and killing them. Here Varus steps up again, we hit the tornado, and he takes a lot of poke as a result. So that's basically why you want to play with an enchanter as a Jinx. So now we're going to talk about the actual lane now. Obviously, as we saw like multiple times at this point, Jinx has very high DPS, and Janna is there to protect her. Janna is also pretty dominant in lane with her W. So as a result, we are against a Soraka and a Varus. What they want to do is just poke us out and just not really engaged. But what they're doing is kind of just walking straight towards us, and as a result, we're killing them pretty much on repeat for no good reason. And also, since we're against a Soraka, I've actually gone for Executioner's Calling first item, which is what I always say to do. If you're against like a healing lane like Soraka, Nami, Yumi, etc., you want to get Executioner's Calling first if you can, to of course basically mitigate what they can do. So now with this, we should be stomping the lane even more. Now honestly, Jinx has no right to stomp. Okay, I wouldn't say any lane, but Jinx shouldn't be able to stomp majority of lanes. Like, only rarely will Jinx ever have a lane that she can actually stomp. Anyways, in comes the Gragas. Here I can't actually reach anybody, so I try to ult. Unfortunately, the ult kind of whiffs big time, and Varus disengages using the ultimate, and we can't really do anything here. Varus already popped his ult, but to no avail, and yeah. I'm not sure if you guys heard that, but we had the weather, and now we're having like drilling in the background because apparently there's some construction going on nearby. But anyways, basically I had to stop the recording, and now I'm actually back after like a good like 3-4 hours back into recording this voiceover for the gameplay. But anyways, we're gonna hop straight into it right where we left off, which is of course here we're destroying the enemy bot lane. So here in goes Gragas, we get the kill on Soraka, and then we also get the kill on Varus. Back to business as usual. Zed again comes up on the roam, but I actually managed to put the traps on myself and actually do manage to escape with my flash and living on 1 HP. I tried to ult the Zed, however I do miss. Anyways, if that hit, I don't think that would have been a kill anyway, so at the end of the day, not too important. So here we do have enough to pick up our Storm Razor, which is exactly what we do. So we back pick up Storm Razor. Now we have both Executioners as well as Storm Razor. So got the anti-heal and got the first item, all at under 5 minutes. So we're in a really good spot. Obviously 3-0 and 2, a really good start to the game. Only wrench in the works is the fact that we have had a Zed constantly roam up, you know, and cause trouble for us, but thankfully we have not actually died to him. So Zed's doing a good job doing what he should be doing, but unfortunately for him, not being able to really stop our snowball, at least as of yet. So here obviously we have the spawn of Dragon and Herald, but obviously we have our jungler farming the wolves, so of course this means that we cannot really do anything, at least in terms of going to the dragon. So here what we're doing is, in addition to harassing Soraka in general, I'm trying to push out the wave so that we have the priority to rotate over to dragon. Now that Gragas has finally shown up, this allows us to actually go straight to the dragon. You also can see on the minimap just now that Diana actually did gank bot and kill Warwick, so this should be basically a free dragon. Now I'm not sure why Varus and Soraka are here trying to contest the dragon when there's no way they can get it. So instead, what's happening here, I ult both of them, and Gragas does get the kill onto Varus. This gives me the reset, and this should be a pretty easy dive on Soraka considering her whole team is bot lane and there's nothing she can really do to peel for herself. So here I'm pushing in the wave, getting the zap onto Soraka as well. And now that the wave is in, we can proceed on for the dive. Now I kind of wanted Gragas to actually take aggro here, which is why I, you know, shot one rocket and then went out of range to sort of show that we need to do the dive. Kind of trying to signal to Gragas that, but Gragas ends up going in and gets the kill anyways, does take the tower aggro in the end. Here Zed does show up to the party, but he is 1v4 now, or rather 2v4 with Varus back off the respawn. Overall, it all goes well. No one on our team really dies, and we're going to be able to just step back and recall, pick up more items. And yeah, so it's all basically going great so far, 3-0 and 4 now. We pick up the BF Sword, of course building toward our IE, and BF Sword gives us a huge injection of AD, so we have the attack speed from Storm Razor and our end lethal tempo. Now we have a little bit more AD again from Storm Razor and also from the AD. Here from the BF Sword I mean. So anyways, here we're headed back into the lane, of course stopping Varus from taking as many plates as we can. And yeah, so obviously in this match, two things we gotta look out for is Diana ultimate as well as Zed ultimate, because those can cause big trouble for us. If we play well, Aatrox should never really get anywhere close to us, and we shouldn't be the main person hit by Varus ultimate. Generally should be a secondary we should be a secondary target of Varus ultimate, so long as we don't stay in the range, we shouldn't actually get hit by Varus ultimate. So Varus and Aatrox shouldn't really be a concern. Main concern is going to be Zed and Diana for us, but of course now we're still kind of in laning, so we don't have to worry too much about that as of yet. So here Soraka already chunked out, as usual, they two are just getting chunked non-stop. So because of how far ahead we are, we can simply just do this. We auto attack into ultimate and kill the Soraka. Varus ends up losing half of his HP just to an auto with a zap. So honestly, at this point, this should be really simple. The Janna goes in and tanks tower, and here I'm able to actually pick up the kill onto the Varus. Unfortunately, Janna tanks one tower shot too many, so ends up being a 1-for-1 trade. Don't think the last tower shot needed to be tanked, unfortunately, but anyways, we do get the kill on Varus, and I do get the tower for the huge injection of gold. So unfortunately we did lose the mid tower, I believe, to the Rift Herald push, so we didn't get first tower of the game, but getting the tower gold all to myself there gives me enough to actually pick up IE. So 5-0 and 4 now, we are in a really strong state, nearly 8k gold now. No one is really even that close. So we're in prime position to carry our team. Now what we want to do here is, now that we are really fed, we want to generally be playing safe and just basically not die. So long as we are alive, we have the chance to always get resets and just kill people in general, and that's basically what we want to do. So we don't want to put ourselves in any kind of dangerous situations. So for example here, we don't want to step up and clear the wave. We want to wait for the wave to push in and then clear the wave. I'm not too scared of like Zed ulting me here. I know he walked into like our jungle here, but I'm not really scared of Zed ulting me here because I have Janna beside me, so she can obviously shield me and just push Zed away with the ultimate. So I'm not too worried about that. In case you guys were wondering why is it that I see Zed walking toward the blue buff area, but I'm still standing right next to that wall. It's the reason because I'm not very concerned about dying because I have Janna with me to protect me. So here I'm just clearing out the wave and just keeping my farm up, as a good ADC should. Okay, so now the only objective on the map at the moment, it is the Rift Herald. So of course we're gonna head over to the general Rift Herald area. Unfortunately, the whole enemy team is already there before Rift Herald spawns, and they take it really quickly. So they do manage to actually secure the Rift Herald. In my opinion, not the worst scenario in the world. Second Rift Herald isn't really that important unless you can use it to like break an inhibitor or something, which doesn't look like is very possible. Instead, second dragon is coming up, which is the mountain dragon, which is way more important. So we do want to actually fight for this mountain dragon, and we are all kind of roughly in position to contest mountain dragon, aside from Warwick, who is kind of pushing down his lane. Warwick is now reset. Actually, he's not resetting. He's continuing to push the lane. Not really the best case in the world, but not the worst either. We will at least get the tower off of that. Here Gragas is pinging assist on Warwick, but Warwick kind of doesn't really care and kind of needs some time to make it here anyways. So dragon is up. Here you guys can see I'm using rocket form to just blast whoever I can. In this case, it is the Zed who is in my range, so I'm blasting Zed using the zap. Zed goes in with the ultimate on Renekton. Renekton barely actually takes any damage. Here I'm blasting wherever I can. I blast the Zed, blast the Aatrox, still blasting the Aatrox, exhaust the Aatrox as well. I get the kill on Aatrox, giving me the reset. Now here, Diana goes in with the ultimate, so I make a split-second decision to actually flash forward and go for the Zed. Now, I have no idea how that Diana Q did so much damage, but I was not expecting to die to that Diana Q, especially when I was standing in the middle of my team. But somehow I do actually die to that Diana Q. Now, the good news about this whole situation is that we actually did manage to pick up the dragon. So I'm gonna briefly, rewind and discuss what happened there. So there, obviously Zed was low HP. Now I'm fed, I don't necessarily need the kill on Zed, so that's why I didn't flash forward for the auto and Zed immediately. However, when I saw Diana coming in with the ultimate, I couldn't flash back because flashing back would have still put me in the Diana ultimate range. So the only way I could flash was to flash forward. Either that or I just don't flash at all and let the ult hit me and rotate me back toward my team. But I chose to flash forward because number one, I can avoid that Diana ultimate, and number two, my thinking was that I can perhaps auto and get the kill on Zed, giving me the reset to jump back. However, unfortunately for me, when I flashed forward, Zed went out of vision and I couldn't get the kill onto the Zed, which of course did lead me to getting chunked, and when I walked back to my team, I just died. So anyways, here Warwick does engage. Zed ults me, but I basically take no damage, and here we're just gonna play front to back. We're gonna stay in the backline and just blast people. I get pulled in by Aatrox Infernal Chains, but I just walk it out. And here we get a crucial reset onto Soraka, allowing us to get excited and continuing on to blast down everybody else on their team. I get myself the Quadra, and Zed is the last kill. So here Janna flashes forward and heals for us to chase. I hit the Zed for the slow. Janna hits the basically everything on Zed to make sure he can escape, and I actually do manage to pick up the pentakill, just autoing the Zed down, which is a pretty beautiful thing. Now I was a little bit excited of this pentakill, so I didn't actually steal enemy red buff, which is what I should have done, but hey, you know, it's a very minor thing, and we do actually end up picking up the pentakill, giving us enough gold to pick up Runaan's Hurricane, which is only gonna make us even stronger. So very nice pentakill from us on Jinx. Jinx is one of the, I wouldn't say easiest, but it's one of the champions that is pretty easy to get a pentakill on, because when you get a reset, as you saw, you get another kill, another kill, another kill, and you just reset and get all the kills. A lot like Samira, a lot like Katarina, but to a lesser extent. So here we can pick up the mid lane tower as well. We want to back off immediately, of course, as you guys can see. The whole enemy team is, of course, gonna collapse on us. And we, of course, got a huge shutdown from that pentakill, so we ideally don't want to die so we don't lose our shutdown. So anyways, here we just want to group with our team. Now we have like triple items already. We are really strong. All we want to do is stay with our team and just stay safe and kill people while staying in the back line. So you guys can see here, you guys can see there the Runaan's Hurricane. You guys will see it again when I clear the next wave, or like clear Krugs or something like that, that the actual Runaan's Hurricane damage is pretty huge combined with the rockets. Anyways, here Warwick is going in. Same goes for Gragas. Aatrox ults and tries to go in. Again, I'm blasting Aatrox. Here I tried to flash forward to kill Aatrox, but Aatrox is really fast with the ult movement speed. I try to ult him, but Diana tanks it for him. Here, Warwick actually gets the ulti onto the Diana, which allows us to pick up the kill onto Diana and get the reset, but no one else is in the vicinity to be attacked. So instead, we're just going to quickly pick up the tower and call it a day. So here we see top lane tower is a juicy target with the huge wave that's coming. So here Warwick, Janna, and I are going to be pushing in top. But you can see instantly that 3 people from mid are rotating to top lane. So we wanted to get the tower, but I decided not to commit for it because I think that a shutdown on me is way too valuable compared to the tower. I mean, I could have tried to get the tower and then use the tower reset to get my passive and run away, but I didn't want to risk getting caught by the enemy team, especially because I don't have flash. So I decided to go the safe way and just run away instead of greeding for the tower. Tower is still up, but at basically a tickle away from actually going down. And so what I'm going to do now is, of course, take the red buff, which is what I also did just now. Now, I do already have red buff, but it is going to be running out soon. And we have a Gragas anyway. Gragas does AP damage, so he's not going to really benefit from red buff. Yeah, here, take a look at the Runaan's Hurricane damage. It does, you know, of course, that 55% damage. Now, I don't have the rocket when I do that, but with the rocket, it does significantly more damage, of course, from the rocket damage itself. Zed tries to go in onto the Janna, but doesn't quite work. I get the kill onto Diana, which gives me the reset. Unfortunately, Aatrox is really tanky with the Dev's Dance. I don't manage to kill Aatrox. Here I get rooted and try to stasis, trying to hope my team can actually help me, but Varus times the arrow really well, gets the kill on me and gets the shutdown. However, my team can kind of clean up the fight. That's a really int body slam by Gragas, nowhere even close to hitting Varus. But anyways, we end up actually getting, not a clean ace because Zed is still alive, but we end up getting the better part of that trade in my opinion, aside from the fact that I actually end up giving shutdown over to Varus. Now we have 4 crit items already. LDR has been completed, so we now can probably stretch through Aatrox as well. Now the main issue here is Soraka is on the enemy team. I have Executioner's Calling, but if you take a look at the item builds of the rest of the people on my team, no one has built Grievous Wounds for some reason. I have no idea why. So here I'm typing in the chat furiously for people to buy Grievous Wounds, because when I get enough for GA, I'm gonna have to sell my Executioner's Calling to get GA, because the revive is going to be very important. I'm not going to say it's more important than Grievous Wounds, because in this match Soraka and Aatrox need to be countered by Grievous Wounds, which is why I'm desperately trying to get people to build Grievous Wounds, because no one is building Grievous Wounds, and we're going to basically lose to Aatrox and Soraka if we don't have Grievous Wounds when I sell my Executioner's Calling. So trying to get people to buy Grievous Wounds, but no one is really cooperating, you know, being solo queue and all. But yeah, for now it's not gonna be an issue yet because I don't quite have enough for GA. But when I do, that's gonna be a problem. So here, blue buff is up. Warwick starts the blue buff, and I'm gonna finish it because obviously Jinx uses mana for the rocket. So blue buff on me is gonna be way better than on Warwick. Warwick hits the ulti on Aatrox, and we are able to basically just destroy the Aatrox. Again, we have the LDR, which allows us to shred through his armor that he gets from the Death's Dance. So here, this allows us to actually go for a Baron. We have top wave pushing in, and the enemy team doesn't even suspect we're doing Baron. We spot Diana in the top lane, which basically means that this is going to be a free Baron for us, because the enemy jungle is not here to actually steal Baron. Gragas comes in for the smite, and we pretty much get a free Baron, as I mentioned. So here we're going to actually just take this red buff, because we don't actually have one. So here, red buff completed. And yeah, you guys can see the insane damage we're doing now. This is basically almost full build for Jinx. Like, GA does give you AD and armor, but this is basically almost max damage output on Jinx. Which obviously is insane because Jinx is a late game hyper carry now. Somehow, Zed just randomly dies to like the Gragas and Janna, and obviously that's a great thing. Here I'm just grouping up with my team. I actually wanted to push bot, but again, you don't want to be alone as a Jinx. Who is really immobile and really squishy. So here I'm just grouping up with my team. They want to push mid, so I'm going to push mid. Here you see I'm critting for 1k at this point onto the minions, and I'm just using my rockets to actually blast the tower down so that I can do it in max range. Here I ult to try to get damage, but I end up whiffing the ult. So here at this point I get reset onto Aatrox. I'm doing so much damage that I'm even killing people while they're on the fountain, as you guys can see here. I nearly actually even killed Varus on the fountain, but the game does end up ending. And yeah, it was a quite an amazing game from us, pentakill performance, as well as getting a whole ton of damage and carrying the team. And I'm going to be leaving you guys with these stats as usual. So thank you guys so much for watching the video, and goodbye.